True Story Media.
This is my person. This is who I'm supposed to be with, whether it's in this lifetime, a different lifetime.
We've always had this weird bond. Like I call it a bond of weirdness. They don't like the fact that I use weird, but I like weird. I'm weird and I embrace weird. But we just are two quirky people that have always had this super strong connection.
I'm Brittany Yard. You probably think this story is about you. But this story is Gina's.
Uh-oh. The last cookie.
You can get a new box of cookies in as fast as an hour with Walmart Express Delivery.
Are you my guilty self-conscience?
No, I'm the voice offering you promo code EXPRESS for free delivery on your first order.
Hey, who ate my cookies?
You mean, these cookies?
Order now. Welcome to your Walmart. Promotion valid for first express delivery order. $50 minimum subject to availability. Restrictions apply.
It's time for basketball, and Uber Eats is dropping deals on game day favorites to keep you locked in on the action. Like when you're craving a buzzer beater, but also buffalo wings. Or when an upset makes you want to ugly cry into a pizza. And right now, Uber Eats has game day deals from Burger King, Buffalo Wild Wings, KFC, and hundreds more local favorites. So you can keep your eyes on the ball and your hands on a burger. Order now, only on Uber Eats. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
When Gina and Viv first started talking again, it was meant to rekindle their friendship.
I was asking a lot of questions. They were very quickly were like, Gina, like they were checking in with their other friends. They were like, this is not normal stuff that you ask your friends, right? Like, this chick is into me. But then the whole time we were talking, we were like, hey, friend, how are you doing today, my friend? I'm having a great day, friend. And we argue to this day about who was like, we're just going to be friends. I say it's them, they say it's me.
Watching from the sidelines, I saw how quickly their daily check-ins became something more. During this time, Gina was embracing casual dating and trying to figure out what she wanted. Yet somehow, no matter how many experiences we talked about, our conversations kept circling back to Viv. Around this time, Gina needed a break from her roster. I had deleted the dating apps, and we decided to go on a European adventure. But there was still one constant, Viv, checking in across time zones, never missing a day.
They were tracking my flights. They were setting their alarm to wake up to be able to wish me a safe travels because we're in Europe. They were like, be present, enjoy yourself. I'm excited for any pictures you send me at the end of the day. We'd have a fun day out. I'd get back and I would download a whole bunch of pictures and send them. It was the first time where I felt like I had, just over the months, not just the Euro trip, but I had like a cheerleader. I had someone who wanted to take care of me, wanted to support me, had my back. Had a break from the dudes that I was dating, and I didn't care. I realized how little any of that mattered because while I had these guys that I was occasionally hooking up with, I was talking to this person every day, and that was taking up so much of me. And it got to the point where on that trip, I reached out to all the guys I was dating, and I was like, hey, so this has been fun. We need to pause. I was like, we need to hold because I need to figure out what's going on with this other person before we continue. My heart and my everything is into this differently, and I want to know what that is.
20 years ago, they started with intense physical chemistry and crashed when the emotional foundation wasn't there. This time around, they were building everything the right way. Emotional intimacy and friendship first.
When I said, hey, I think we should meet up, they were like, okay, within 3 months. Now, at that point, we'd already been talking 3 months straight every single day.
I was very hesitant, and I slow and steady is my name of the game. It doesn't mean I wasn't going to get there, but for my safety and my comfort, I wanted to go very slow. But the moment where I told Gina, hey, I'm going to get out to you at the end of June, and she said, well, I want to see you sooner.
I need to know what this is. I'm pausing everything else because I feel like this is different and I need to know.
I knew she was legit. Like, she really was genuine about her interest in me and us and where this could potentially go in a reconnection. And against my better judgment, I'm just kidding. I was like, cool, yeah, come on out.
And so a few days before my birthday, I flew out to Colorado.
When she told me she was flying to Colorado to visit Viv, I was very nervous. But this wasn't the same Gina who fled the state 20 years ago. And from everything she told me about their conversations, this wasn't the same Viv either.
They were very adamant about our first reconnect was not allowed to be sexual. Because at least from when we were younger, we knew we had sexual chemistry. And so for them, it was very important to not get wrapped up in the false sense of like, oh, I'm connected.
I'm freaking out this whole time about this. I'm talking to my therapist. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Because I'm going from my solitude, my life, the peace that I've built for myself after I've had all this chaos and just craziness and unstable. Like, I've healed my nervous system essentially. And I'm like, someone's going to come into my peace. Like, someone's going to step into that.
What was the day like for you before she first came? Like, were you freaking out?
There were moments in the evening, like, I got everything ready. I was like, cool, we have the space ready. My home's like prepped, fridge was full, got her favorite snacks. And I had this moment of like, oh shit, Gina's actually going to be here tomorrow, like in my space, in my home, physically in front of me. Freaked out. Sure as shit freaked out, which I think is normal. Like, if I wasn't freaking out, then let's raise some concern. Freaking out. And then I laughed about it. This was it. Like, this was my future. This is going to change the path and trajectory of my romantic life, and like a life that I'm clearly building with somebody else, and what that looks like. Mind you, someone who's never lived with anybody they've been in a relationship with, someone who's lived by themselves all of their adult life. It's scary.
Everyone was nervous, but they were coming into this with new tools.
That first week of us hanging out was cute. It was really cute because we're like trying to figure out like what's going on? Like, where's the boundary here? It was very sweet.
The whole day we were both a little awkward because we're like, we hadn't seen each other in years. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go to bed now. And we had talked about sharing the bed, but they were like, there's, no funny business. And I was like, okay. I was like, but we hadn't done anything at that point. Like, we hadn't even kissed. So I was like, am I still coming to your, am I still going to go to your room? And they were like, yes, Gina, yes, we're sleeping in the same bed. We can share a bed. We're adults. But I'll tell you what, we held hands that night, and every time we're together, we hold hands when we go to sleep, every single time now. And it progressed. It was like 3-4 days together. By the last night, we had our first kiss, and we fooled around a bit. We were very specific on what constituted as sex so that we wouldn't cross those boundaries. I came back and I was like, this is the person I want to be with. And they're like, I want to ask you to be my girlfriend because I don't want this to be we just like each other, so we're together. Like, I want to be very intentional. And so they were like, I want to wait until I see you next. I'm going to ask you to be my girlfriend. And I was like, okay, I'm going to say yes. They ended up doing it on July 1st because my favorite number is 8. And they were like 7-1. We both have done a lot of change and have had a lot of growth over the years. I mean, we dated at 23, 24. I'm now 42. So it's been a long time. But one of the things that just continues to stand out is how intentional they are with me and with our relationship now. It's not, we like each other, let's hang out right away, let's see where this goes. It's, okay, that's good, I like you too, let's continue to build on this connection. Let's continue to like feed this flower versus like drown it.
Yeah, we're just very gentle with each other. Gina's as much as, I'm going to say this, as much as she puts herself to be a stone-walled, non-emotional, business-only type of person, she is very mushy and very soft and very sensitive. And I see that in her every single day. And like, I feel it in me. Like, my job is to water that and to protect it as well. Like, she's a little sensitive being. It's the toughest cookies that are the softest ones, right?
By the time I said my first I love you to them, they were like, I love you too. They immediately said it back. And I was like, oh, I know. And they were like, what do you mean you know? And I was like, I know by how you show up, the consistency in how you treat me and how you are with me, and how like I feel your love every day. I didn't need you to tell me. I needed to tell you because in case you didn't know, since I'm not as soft at times, I was like, I needed to tell you. I knew you loved me.
We had all seen how Gina had changed over the last couple of years. Once controlled and serious, she had rediscovered a playful side that she had kept hidden for years.
Even my niece now, the same niece who was like, I thought your personality was just grumpy. I thought adult Gina is awfully annoyed with life. And now, like, she's had the opportunity to see me and my partner together. And she even came to a trip to Colorado. And after like the first morning, we went to run a few errands, and I'm telling her about how we were watching Sesame Street. Viv goes into the shop real quick, and we're sitting in the car. My niece is like, I'm so confused. Who are you? You don't watch Sesame Street. You're an adult. You do adult things. You don't do kiddie, lighthearted things. She was like, I've never seen you this happy. I've never heard you laugh this much. She's beyond happy for me. Viv allows me to be me in all aspects of me. And them providing that space for me to be me, regardless of how I show up. Good days, bad days, happy days, sad days, ugly days, beautiful days. It helps me flourish as the person that I want to be versus the person that I think I've felt like I've been expected to be.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Hey, it's Britt. I wanted to take a minute to talk to you about the importance of therapy. It can feel like a big investment, but the state of your mind is just as important as your physical health. Traditional in-person therapy can cost anywhere from $100 to $250 per session. That adds up fast. But with BetterHelp online therapy, you can save, on average, up to 50% per session. Therapy should feel accessible, not like a luxury. With online therapy, you can get quality care at a price that makes sense and can help you with anything from anxiety to everyday stress. Your well-being is worth it. Visit betterhelp.com/probablythink today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/probablythink. I want to take a minute and talk about hormone harmony. It isn't just for menopause, even though I was thrown into that last year. Finding a product that helps regulate my symptoms has been so crucial. Whether it's hot flashes, night sweats, or those racing thoughts and low moods, I've been able to use Hormone Harmony to help me feel like myself again. This isn't just a product for somebody that's going through menopause. It can help you at any stage in your life to help maintain optimal hormone levels. I also love Happy Mammoth's Complete Gut Repair. With the Complete Gut Repair, when I'm traveling, I can make sure that I continue to feel like myself, even with the time zone changes and dysregulation to my sleep. For a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com using the code YouProbably at checkout. That's happymammoth.com with the code YouProbably.
Are your ulcerative colitis symptoms proving difficult to manage? Tremfya guselkumab can help you manage the cycle of UC symptoms. At 1 year, many patients taking Tremfya achieved clinical remission, and some patients also achieved endoscopic remission. Individual results may vary. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Ask your doctor if Tremfya can help you manage the cycle of UC symptoms. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Watching their relationship unfold was like seeing a masterclass in everything I wish I knew about love, but I will not be calling my ex. Where once there had been drama and chaos, now they were having honest conversations about triggers and fears. Before, there were insecurities. Now, just intentional communication. Even their conflicts were different. Instead of tears, it was just two people actually hearing each other.
There's no screaming, there's no fighting, but we've had conflict. We've had things that have been triggers for each of us that we've had to bring up and work through together. It's the first time that I've been in a relationship where the actions match the words. We are on the same team. When we have conflict, it's not you did this. We focus on ourselves, how we're feeling, and we both try so hard to work through it together. And so it's a conversation. Every single conflict that Viv and I have had, we walk away and we feel better. That's another first for me in a relationship. Don't walk away feeling like, oh, this is going to piss me off in a few hours when I rethink everything that happened. We somehow walk away loving each other more because we're like, wow, we just did that. Look at us adulting. It requires you to not put yourself first, not focus on responding and focus on listening and understanding. It's a lot of stuff that I thought I might be good at, and I'm realizing how much work I still need to do. But I'm happy to do the work with Viv. It's easy doing the work with Viv.
I get to practice everything that I've been learning, everything that I've been wanting to apply in connection from a romantic perspective. I'm here and I'm doing the schoolwork for it. Oh, great, this is nice. And it's been very peaceful for myself. It's been different because it's not the chaos in which I'm used to. And so it's that discomfort in other realms. And there's no other person I'd rather be doing it with than Gina.
It's probably been the slowest moving relationship I've been in as an adult, but it's also oddly refreshing. Especially because we're long distance, it forces you to really think through and the steps that you would take if someone was with you. If Viv was here, I always joke and tell them, I'm like, oh, we would have been moved in together by now. We would be living together. We'd have matching tracksuits. That's how we would be if we were living in the same space or the same area. And for them, they're like, no, we wouldn't. I don't want that. I want to make sure that every step that's taken in this relationship is one that's meant to be taken because it's been something that we've both thought through and it makes sense for us in that moment.
Rebuilding a relationship is challenging, especially when you've lived separate lives 1,000 miles apart. Every decision becomes a hard conversation if it's not done with thought and care. Somehow, watching them navigate it, I started to understand why all their past relationships had to fail. They needed to become these versions of themselves.
I'm at where I'm at today because of the investment in choosing myself. It absolutely starts here first. If this isn't squared up, doesn't mean it has to be perfect, but if there's no alignment here, everything is going to show up chaotically and be right in your face of what you need to fix.
It's been very uncomfortable, the shift to being intentional, because it's just not what I'm used to. I'm like, I'm an adult, you're an adult, we know we want this, let's go for it, let's make it happen. How do we get together? How do we get to the same location? How do we coexist, cohabitate? And they very quickly were like, That is the end goal. That's where I absolutely want to be. I don't want to be there now. I want to take the time to learn you learn me. Like, we actually continue to build this relationship. Like, we are on a journey together. This is not a race.
Everything Gina discovered gave her the confidence to ask for what she wanted and to set clear boundaries in her relationship with Viv, transforming her from someone who passively accepted whatever was offered into a woman who could openly express her desires and needs without fear or shame. Gina said that I was meant to come into her life so I could help her rediscover herself. But what ended up happening is that I had a front row seat to watch Gina craft the life that she wanted and end up in the relationship we all want. It gave me the strength and the courage to stay as authentic as I can to myself, knowing that anything less than that isn't worth it.
For so many years, I've had to be the adult when I was the kid. I had to be the adult when I was the teenager. I was never good at it, but I felt like I needed to be it. My mom used to joke with me and be like, "You're such a grandma. Like, I used to be wild at your age. What are you?" Like, I was always the calm, sensible one. And Viv brings out a side of me that is just like more lighthearted, more fun, more willing to laugh at themselves. And so one of their asks was, "Hey, I'm coming out to Seattle around Halloween. Let's dress up as ghosts and take pictures." And I was like, "That sounds ridiculous." Yes, sure. If this brings you joy, let's do it. It's not gonna cause me any pain. Like, oh, whatever. And it turned out to be so fun. Like, it was so windy, it was so cold, it was so hard to get one frickin' picture. And then on top of that, we're in these sheets. Like, mind you, it was sheets with sunglasses. Can't see anything. And then you start hearing people. You start hearing neighbors come upstairs to enjoy the sunset. And then there's us trying to take pictures, the camera's falling, we're laughing our asses off. It's one of those experiences. It's one of those small experiences that I'll always remember, the time that we're on the roof being silly, taking pictures in the freezing cold, finding joy as my neighbors were like, "What in the heck is going on here?" They push me out of my comfort zone. They bring out the kid in me.
The happy ending isn't that everything is perfect. It's that they're both willing to show up.
It's scary to think, like, I'm forging my life with somebody else now, but I welcome that discomfort because there's growth in it. The self-sabotage is just a false sense of control, and how many times I've had to battle that within myself too. But it's like, I'm here for it. I deserve it, damn it. Like, that's where I'm at. Like, her and I both deserve this.
Sometimes, when we've finally grown into the person we are meant to be, we get a second chance to be with the person we're meant to be with.
I'm looking forward to that first blowout fight, though. Like, I want that experience so we know how we resolve that. We haven't hit that just yet. I know we're going to be okay working through that.
Well, you guys keep showing up for each other with kindness, and it might take a while to get to that.
Yeah. This experience has not been comfortable, but it's been very safe with Gina. I'm speechless. Like, it's just a lot of emotion that I feel in my heart for the opportunity to reconnect with her, to build the relationship that we're building, to help each other grow, because we do that with each other, to have uncomfortable conversations in kind ways. It's something that I've never experienced before. And I know that she tells me, she's like, "I've never been in a relationship this healthy. And there's no other person I'd rather be doing it with than Gina." I mean, I would like to save 10 years. Like, if we can reconnect in our 30s, that'd be great. But look, we're 40, we're thriving. It's fantastic. If I had to go through that fiery path over and over and over again. And I knew the end result would be Gina. I'd do it.
Thank you so much for listening to season 2. I hope that it was as powerful to you as it was for me. There will be bonus content and updates. Stay tuned for more. You can support the show by joining us on Apple Podcasts or Patreon. Episodes are available early and ad-free. Our executive producer is me, Brittany Ard. Our senior producer and editor is Sydney Gladu. Story consulting by Mariah Gossett. Sound engineering by Sean Simmons. Graphic design by Nigella Shama. Opening theme by Youth Star and Miscellaneous. You Probably Think This Story's About You is a production of BDE Unlimited Productions. You can follow me for updates at brittany.ard on all social media platforms. If you like what we're doing, don't forget to hit that follow button wherever you're listening to this podcast. Give us a rate and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. I love responding to comments on Spotify. Trolling the trolls is my new favorite pastime.